Hi everyone, so today I'll be filming my empties for the month of September. Like always, I'll have these separated into categories in case you're only interested in certain items. Surprisingly, this month, my biggest empty category is skincare. So let me start off with that, specifically sheet masks. I finished up 4 sheet masks. This one is the APLB glutathione niacinamide sheet mask. Really like this one. I'm happy that I found some more at TJ Maxx or Marshalls, and it's pretty good price. So each sheet mask comes out to about less than $1, so that's great. And then, of course, we have the Tony Moly ones that I stocked up on. This is Skin Purifying I'm Makoli. This one's okay. I'm not sure why my empties are so low, but I would recommend this one. But I think out of these two, if I had to choose, I'd probably go with this one just because it just fits my face better. This one, if I bend over, this one does have the tendency to slide down. But for both of them, I do use the extra essence as a toner step. All right, I did finish up this tiny product that I believe came in my sister's either Sephora or Ulta order, and she didn't want to use it, so I used it. So this is from the brand, is it Philosophy? Yeah, Ultimate Miracle Worker. This one has, I believe, retinoid complex. So it has some form of retinol. It's definitely not like retinaldehyde or anything like that. I have prescription based tretinoin, so I would use this on my off days and specifically on my neck. The only bad thing about it is that it's heavily fragrant. Normally I'm okay, but this one was a little bit too much. It could be that I'm used to unfragranced products now, so I wouldn't recommend this. Yeah, did I notice a difference? It's really small, so I think I would have to try a full size version in order to really know if it made a difference or not. But just from that little bit, I wouldn't recommend it or try it, especially if you don't like heavily fragrance products on your face. On the body, that's a different story. Okay, I finished up a skincare product that I got at either TJ Maxx or Marshalls. This is from the brand Numbazin and number 3. So this one, I don't necessarily think that I saw any difference in my skin, but I really like the texture of this and how it's formulated because I was able to use this specifically in the morning and underneath my sunblock, which I know sometimes, depending on what serums and toners you use, your sunblock might start peeling, or even the moisturizer that you use. This one, I was able to go from my cleanser, toner, slash essence, serum, and then I was able to go straight to sunblock. And sometimes when I felt like my skin was dehydrated, I did use a cream, then a sunblock. And it didn't like feel cakey, and it absorbed onto my skin. So while I feel like this one didn't really do anything for my face, I really liked the formulation of that. I would have purchased it if it went on sale. I think I bought it for about $15 or something. If it went down to 10, I totally would repurchase. Next, going on to a product that I wouldn't repurchase and wouldn't recommend. We have one from the brand Kate Somerville. This is the Biomimicking Peptides Smooth and Firm Serum. I really like the glass. Is this glass? It sounds like it's glass, but it's a really heavy duty dropper bottle. I really enjoyed it. It was able to reach all the way at the bottom, and I know sometimes dropper bottles, they're really finicky, but I really like this one. And that's pretty much where it ended, the likes. This one I got it on sale, yellow tag, for $10. And the problem with this one was the texture. I really hated using it in the morning, so I kind of delegated this as a nighttime serum. It's fragrance free if I'm not mistaken, but it's one of those products that probably needed some fragrance in order to counteract the natural scent of whatever peptides I guess they were using. Yeah, I didn't like this. Towards the end, I wanted to just finish it up, so I ended up using it as a body serum. The texture, it was really like goopy, but yet somehow it reminded me of like olive oil a little bit. So it was this weird gel serum texture, a little bit more viscous than I would have liked. And this one did cause my sunblock in the morning to pill. So wouldn't recommend this. I think this was potentially either being repackaged or reformulated. That's normally what happens when you find skincare products at TJ Maxx and Marshalls. They're either being discontinued, reformulated, or repackaged. So there's that one. Wouldn't recommend. Another skincare product that I ended up finishing this month, this is the Mary and May Vegan Blackberry Complex Cream Essence Youth and Glow. So this one was one of those products that had 2 layers and you had to shake it up before using it. So I think I made a note to myself. Oh yeah, it cost $7.99. what does it say? Oh, I think this one was mismarked because originally I saw this for $9.99, but my sister said, I think you should get it because she found it listed for $7.99. So this one was just okay. I feel like it didn't really do a good job at hydrating my skin, even though it was like more of a milky essence or like a milky toner. I much prefer the Laneige, is it called Cream Skin Refiner, or even the I'm From Rice Toner. So if I had to choose between this one, the I'm From Rice Toner, and the Laneige Creamy Skin Refiner, I'd probably choose the other two. Maybe the Laneige if I wanted to shell out for a more expensive product, but the I'm From Rice Toner, I've seen it sometimes at Costco in a 2-pack in a pretty big size, so I'd probably go 50-50 with my sister. But if I was in a pinch, I'd probably pick this up again. It did last quite a few months, so maybe not because it's a pretty big commitment. I liked using this in the morning when I felt like my skin needed a touch more a touch more hydration, and I didn't want to put on, let's say, like a face cream or anything. So there's that one. Another product that I'm sad to see go, but I think it was well past its expiration point. We have the By Wish Trend Mandelic Acid 5% Skin Prep Water. So this one is, I believe, an exfoliating toner, which I found that I like exfoliating toners and exfoliating cleansers. I'm not too much of a fan of exfoliating serums or creams. That's just my thing. With this one, I would like to use it at night, obviously, because I don't want to exfoliate my face in the morning and go out in the sun. I know some people say that you can use sunblock, but I just use this at night. The problem with this one is that I had opened this January 24th of 2024, and it's already like well past a year after it was opened. So this one, it says it's good 12 months after opening. So then towards the end, I would sometimes use this in my neck area, and then towards the end under my arms, because I really wanted to finish up this product. Normally this one is pretty unscented, but then towards the end, I think it started to go bad. So it started to get like this little, almost like a fermented smell. But mandelic acid is pretty gentle on your face. I think glycolic acid is a little bit harsher because the molecule is a little bit smaller. So unfortunately, while I would repurchase and recommend this one, I'm not going to purchase from international Asian beauty retailers online unless this comes over to the US in like Ulta, Sephora, or maybe even like TJ Maxx, Marshalls. But yeah, this one, really liked it. Next product category, I guess, would be more body care. Oh, this one's kind of body care-ish. So my sister finished up another one of her Halls shower steamers. So this one, she got it for $3. And I asked her, I said, hey, if you ever finish up the Halls shower steamers or you see them for the normal price of $5.99, would you purchase them then? And she said no. And this one, I think she's starting to like the Halls one slightly more than the Bath & Body Works shower steamers, because in the bathroom that she's using now, which is mine, it's a tub versus the one that we normally use that isn't a tub. And she finds that the Bath & Body Works ones don't really work too well, and these last a pretty good while in the shower, and I feel like it disperses the scent better somehow. But back to that, she would repurchase this again only for $3, but it doesn't add a significant amount of scent in your shower. It's just like a little touch of fragrance. And also, I think she notices a bit more because she uses primarily unscented products. All right, next we have a Philosophy shower gel or body wash. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, in the scent Sugar Plum Fairy. So this is the 240 milliliter or 8 fluid ounce bottle. This one I didn't care for a set, but it was part of the after, I think, Christmas sale. So it was yellow tag for like $10 for a pack of 2, which was a really good deal. So that made this $5, which, now that I'm thinking about it, it's pretty small for $5, but it lasted a really long time. So I used this both as a shampoo and body wash. This was sealed, so I couldn't smell it beforehand, but it just smells like, like gumdrops. But it's a little bit more gelatinous or like diluted smelling. And also this was a little bit thicker, so it was harder for me to work into my hair or like suds up in my hair, or I had to really scrub when I use this on my body. So this one in particular, I wouldn't go out of my way to repurchase. And actually, I have a lot of Philosophy, the jumbo size body washes slash shower gel slash bubble baths. So I don't plan to purchase from Philosophy anytime soon unless it's like a scent that I just love, which I haven't come across that yet. Ooh. All right, next product we have from a small business called Little Seed Farm. This is a all-natural deodorant in the scent Grapefruit Lemon. So this lasts either 6 months to a year, depending how frequent I use this. So this is not an antiperspirant, so there's no aluminum and no baking soda. When my sister was, for a while, she was really into like low waste, no waste, and she really liked this company because they used glass jars, and basically you could reuse this and fully recycle this. And so, what do you call it? She initially tried Native deodorants, but then I guess at the time Native didn't have the line that did not have baking soda, I believe, and she got this really bad, almost like cystic acne underneath her arms. It was like these really painful red bumps. And then when she saw this company, she really liked the brand. And then I tried it and I just have been using it ever since. The only thing is that it does come with a little applicator, but I just like stick my finger in. So some people don't like it. It's not like a roll-on deodorant. I really like the scent. It smells very fresh. I can use it year round. One thing to note, since this is not an antiperspirant, you're still going to sweat. I feel like though when you sweat, it doesn't really smell bad because it has that deodorizing effect. But I feel like maybe if I had a different lifestyle or if my job was more outdoors, I changed my mind about it. But as of right now, it works. I mean, I work remotely from home, and I think the most strenuous thing I do outside is maybe gardening, but I tend to shower afterwards. So yeah, I would repurchase this. I already did in the scent Grapefruit Lemon. Last minute empty for my sister, we have this Treat Hut scrub in the scent Rainbow Sherbet. This one is from 2024, or at least that's what it says on the batch code in the bottom, but she writes it on this label so she could see it better. But anyways, she said that this reminded her of the Island Margarita scrub. I don't know if that's like the scent, and yeah, the scent specifically or what, because I didn't use this one. But when I open it up, it does smell a little bit citrusy. And she said this one was okay, but she wouldn't repurchase unless it was on a really good discount. Next category. I think the rest is home fragrance, and then it'll be miscellaneous. Okay, so for home fragrance, I don't have a lot of tea lights. I only used 3 this month. So we have the cheap ones. I think these were from Walmart, I believe. And then, oh, actually, all these were from Walmart. Yeah, and they're the 3 to 4 hour tea lights. I was testing out a lot of products, so I don't really have a lot of empties. All right, so the first wax melt we have from that Smell Good shop, small vendor. I believe the owner's name is Wendy, if I'm remembering that correctly. This is a customer blend in cinnamon sugar and oatmeal cookies. I wrote a note because I have a tendency to forget, especially if it's been a while. So this one, I was using it at work specifically. I used 1 cube at a time. The only problem is that the warmer that I brought to work is a 13-watt warmer, and normally with vendor wax, you use 20 or 25 and up. So I feel like it could have been stronger, but I'm not able to test that because I used up all the cubes. But I mostly got the oatmeal sugar cookie combo. It wasn't overly spicy, but it did lean cinnamon heavy. Initially, when I smelled this, I thought it would be overwhelming, but I think because I used it in the lower wattage warmer, it was just a nice background scent, specifically when my sister made coffee in the morning. I don't drink coffee. It was like a nice combo. While this was going, I really got the like milky aspect of it. I think that was probably the oatmeal part, whereas on cold, I got more of the cinnamon scent. Projection, I would give it medium, and I would say the strength would be light medium. And I think that had a lot to do with the fact that my sister and I sometimes don't turn on the air when my boss isn't there. So it had a lot of like warm, still air. And so this was able to throw, even though I was using a very low wattage warmer. I wouldn't repurchase this one just because cinnamon and I think oatmeal cookies aren't really my favorite scent category preference. Okay, next we have I think it's like a little wax melt, I think, from a small brand called Turtle Creek Candle Shop. I purchased once and I don't think I'll repurchase just because the scents haven't really been for me. And then when you go to the website, there's not a lot of variety at once. So let's say you like one thing, yeah, like one item, it's hard to check out when you're just interested in like that one thing. All right, but this was a free sample in pumpkin cheesecake. I warmed this in my sister's office space, and I'm really glad because I did not like the scent on cold. or while warming. Actually, while warming it was a little bit better. So I used half a cube in her 25-watt wax warmer. The cheesecake isn't making this wing sour, but there's something about this pumpkin that I don't like. I can't tell if it's cooked or a raw pumpkin, but I just don't like it. It reminds me a little bit of like a craft store and or a fresh pumpkin. This one, it was kind of light. I would give it light projection and light strength. And my sister didn't really care for it, so she wouldn't repurchase it, and I wouldn't repurchase it either. And yeah, I think just pumpkin scents aren't really for me. All right, going on to one that I finished from L3 Waxy Wonders. This is in the, I think it's called a Trig Tart, perhaps, in the scent Coffee House. So this one, I was initially powering through it because I personally didn't like it. It smelled like cheap diluted coffee initially, but then my sister came into my room a few times and she said, "Oh, I really like what you're melting in here." So then I ended up putting it in a few pieces in a crock in her workspace or in her office. And the crock, I believe, is a 20-watt crock. To get more into detail, the scent itself, I would give it light on cold. However, when my sister warmed it in her office space, it went up to a medium and it filled up her space. I would say this lasted for about 10 hours or so. And then when I used it in my julienne warmer, I set it on high. And I mainly just got plain coffee with like a little dash of sugar. So this scent, I don't really care for it, so I wouldn't repurchase it or recommend it. However, my sister did like it. So if by any chance I place an order at L3 Waxy Wonders, I'll maybe include one of these for my sister. Going on to another wax item, we have a free sample from the Candle Nurse in Evening Chai Tea. Fragrance notes are Earl Grey tea, a la cardamom, sugar crystals, Palo Santo, pour date, July 18th, 2024. So this one, I think I used the entire piece in my Scentsy 25-watt warmer. Yes. And this one, I think I weighed it and it was either 0.9 ounces or 1 ounce, which it was a pretty hefty size. When I smelled it on cold, I got a minimal tea scent. That wasn't the predominant note that I got, and I also got very little Palo. So it was hard to read on cold, is what I'm trying to say. However, when I went to go warm it, I got this authentic Earl Grey. It was delicate. It almost smelled a little bit fresh, which intrigued me. But then when it when it was warming for a while, because since I think Emily's wax has a little bit more soy, it takes a little bit longer to really get going. I would give it maybe like an hour or so. I got that brewed tea. Like if you think of putting a K-cup in a Keurig and then it like hits the mug with the little, the mug. I got like this freshly brewed tea. And then towards the end, the Palo Santo finally came through and made this more cozy. It was really playing with the cardamom. And yeah, it was just a really cozy scent. I liked it enough to repurchase it. So I did repurchase it and I would recommend it. But specifically, if you like tea scents and ones that aren't like super powerhouses, I would give this a light medium. It did fill up my space. All right, next empty, we have a wax bag from L3. This is in Starfruit Cherry Lemonade. So this was a partial. There were, I think, a total of 4 pieces at one point, but I got 2, and this was a giveaway win from Jeannie over at Jeannie Melt Scents. So for this one, initially, I couldn't really get a good read on this either. And I ended up cutting up like the 2 shapes. I cut it in half, but I later found out that I needed the full shape. So instead of this being 4 worms, it ended up being 2 worms. And I used this in my julienne hot plate and I had to put it on high. Otherwise, I couldn't really get a good smell of it. And I believe each piece weighed 1.5 ounces. So this scent was very watery, and it was also very watery when I went to go warm it. Not aquatic like salt water or anything. I think it was just the lemonade note. There wasn't a distinct cherry, so I think if you don't really like cherry, this wouldn't bother you. But I'm not sure what starfruit smells like, so maybe that was the watery scent I was getting. But either way, this was light strength and light projection. So overall, this scent wasn't overly fruity, it wasn't sweet at all. I mainly just got like a watery drink. Just picture when you only have so much juice or lemonade left and you're really trying to stretch it out and you make the mistake of adding too much water and then you get this diluted mess that you don't want to drink. I feel like that's what I was kind of smelling. So while there are some other light fragrances that I enjoy, I think this wouldn't be one that I would go out of my way to repurchase. So there's that one, Starfruit Cherry Lemonade. All right, going on to a candle empty that my sister finished up. We have basically her favorite CBD candle brand, Candle Bliss, and the scent Pink Prosecco. So this one, I believe she got it on sale for $8. This is, I'm slightly confused if this is 100% soy wax or a soy wax blend. I should probably ask the brand or like submit my question. But this is how it burned all the way down. The only problem or issue that this candle ever gives her is that if she doesn't use a hurricane, this takes a really long time to pull out. So sometimes she might get tunneling, but once she puts it in a hurricane, it's fine. The strength of this, she says she doesn't really care about the strength as long as she's getting, quote, the CBD like effects, which are supposed to calm her down, which I think it does the same thing as like an ashwagandha gummy, but that's besides the point. Anyways, so she would repurchase this scent, and she does have a backup, and she would recommend it. For me, I'm not sure yet, but as far as the strength of this candle and just Candle Bliss in general, they tend to be light. So in her office, I would give it maybe about a 4 or a 3 out of 10. But then again, you're buying this for like $8. The normal retail price is $9.99. Oh, but I didn't describe the scent. So Pink Prosecco. She has this going for hours on end, so it does tend to get a bit sooty. But actually, if she has this burning for hours on end, it's not too bad. I mean, there's not, like, it smells a little bit sooty, but I don't really see that much. So it just has that normal soy wax cling on. So yeah, you only see like a little bit compared to other candle brands. So the scent that I'm getting, I know this says Prosecco, but it doesn't smell overly like bubbly, effervescent. It just smells like slightly fruity with a little hint of sweetness. I'm not even getting a fizz. So I'm not sure if this is correctly named or maybe the scent changed with all the hours that she spent burning this. But yeah, she would purchase that again if she were to see it. All right, last minute candle empties. This one, we have a Scentworks 3-wick candle in the scent Candy Corn. I want to say that this is a CVS exclusive, so I did burn it up to right here, but the scent started to become altered. It got sooty, so I put this underneath my candle lamp, and underneath the candle lamp, it melted up to like right here, but you could still kind of smell the soot. So I wasn't about to pour some wax to get the bottom. And yeah, this is just a no. I don't think I'm going to buy any more Scentworks candles unless they change where they're manufactured or just improve on quality, because this one wasn't a good burn experience and the scent does not smell like candy corn. I knew that when I picked it up from CVS, but yet I still wanted to burn it to see, does something happen when you go, when you burn it and stuff. I have a dedicated review in case you're interested in more of my thoughts, but I don't recommend Scentworks and I would not repurchase this a second time. I'm probably not even going to look at Scentworks candles unless they're $3 or probably not even that. Okay, another candle that I finished up from a small business, South of Sanity. This is in his Candy Corn 2-wick candle. It does have an amber jar, so I have a dedicated review on this if you want more specifics, but this one, I burned it up to right here, but then the scent started changing. I feel like I find that to be the case with a lot of 100% paraffins like Tuscany Village, at least for the ones that I've burned, not too many, but yeah, at first it kind of started to smell a little bit like burnt candy corn, but then it stopped being a little bit of a nuanced burnt candy corn and more of like that sooty smell that the Scentworks candy corn started taking on. So I decided to put this in my candle crock. I left it on for about 2 days or so. Then I put it underneath my lamp just to make sure that all the scent was used up. And yeah, it's pretty much it. Although when I do smell it, I can still kind of detect a little bit of scent, but it doesn't really throw in my candle crock or underneath the lamp. So while this is a really good scent, I wouldn't repurchase it in the candle format, but I would repurchase it in the wax melt. I'm saving my last 2 cubes closer to Halloween. So yeah, good scent. I wouldn't choose it in the candle. Again, just the wax melt. Going on to miscellaneous products, we have one from the brand Nature's Craft in sea moss gummies. So this one, I have no idea what it's supposed to do. It just says cleanses, and I didn't notice any effects, but it did taste pretty good. I think it was like a fruit kind of feel, and it wasn't too hard, it wasn't too chewy. It didn't, like, I wasn't repeating the taste of this gummy. So I did like it, and they were in the shape of gummy bears. You had to take two, and I think it was only like a 15-day supply. Yeah, 15-day supply. So this one I got it on sale for 550 for 550, and I don't know if it was cheap enough, maybe cheaper than 550, I'd probably purchase it again. But if you were to ask me, did I see any effects? Nope. And then last product we have is this Oral-B floss. My mom, or maybe it was my dad, got this from their allowance for health supplies every quarter. This was one of the products that I chose because they had some leftover money, and they said, hey, is there anything that you're interested in? And I don't really care for the floss from Walmart because it either went up in price or the quality went down. I feel like maybe the quality went down because while I used to like a rougher floss or like a thicker floss texture, I don't know, I think it started like falling apart. I don't know, quality control. But this one was good. I would recommend this, but only if it was on sale or if my parents asked me, hey, do you want to like fill up our cart? Sure. All right, so that was everything that I used up for the month of September. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you have a great day. Okay, bye.